Hello YouTube, and welcome to Simple Solutions with AI. I'm your host, Colby, and in this channel, we'll be exploring a wide range of topics where we use AI to help with various wants and goals. So whether you're a tech enthusiast, business owner, or just someone looking to simplify their life, this channel is for you. So let's get started and discover some simple solutions with AI. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I think I just came up with the two best prompts possible to put into ChatGPT to get a more diverse and creative response when you're trying to write scripts or stories. Let's check them out. So the first one we're looking into is the stop parameter. So basically with the stop parameter, since we're doing a script or a story, we're going to have it be telling us a set list of details and information. Now, sometimes ChatGPT breaks it down and it'll give you a couple of paragraphs or bullets and just kind of makes it vary from time to time. If you want this to go to a set distance and length, you have to tell it when to stop. That's the point of the stop parameter. So we tell it what it is using the stop parameter. The stop parameter is used to specify a string or sequence of strings that will cause the model to stop generating text. This can be useful if you want to generate text of a specific length or you want to generate text until a specific point, right? So now it knows what I'm doing it for, the purposes behind it, and I say, write me a story of a magical world land. Stop at the end. So with those parameters, it should understand that when I say stop at the end, it should give me a full story. It shouldn't give me an example. It shouldn't give me like a small little sample. I don't want one paragraph. I want the whole story to be written out. And here we go. Once upon a time, there was a magical land filled with enchanted forests, sparkling rivers, and mysterious caves. So it goes on. It tells you your story. It's probably going to give me about 5 paragraphs and then say the end at the very end to let you know that this was the whole story. It starts here. They went on this adventure. It ends here, has all the aspects of a story and went all the way to the end. Very important stuff. So I just copy pasted our second parameter into the box below so that we can make this much easier for us. Don't have to type everything in, and I tell it what my second parameter is, and that's using the temperature parameter. The temperature parameter is used to control the creativity of the model. A higher temperature will result in more creative and diverse responses, while a lower temperature will result in more repetitive and predictable responses. Now, every time I refer to temperature when I enter this, it should give me a creativity scale. So, with this in mind, make the above story temperature 0.5. And it's going to rewrite it. And it's going to make it very, very basic because I put it on a 0.5. I bet it's already going to repeat exactly what it was, right? So I'm going to stop it there before it does the whole entire story. Sorry. Make it a temperature 50. Now, it should make it super creative for us. This should make it a lot bigger and not as simple as it just was up above. It's almost word for word what it was on the 0.5 scale, so I'm hoping the 50 is way bigger. Once upon a time in a world beyond ours, there was a magical land unlike any other. This land was filled with wonders and mysteries that no mortal mind could comprehend. A land where the sky was purple and the grass was made of candy floss. Like what? The land was ruled by a powerful sorcerer who had the ability to control time and space. The sorcerer had a council of wise elders who helped him govern the land and keep the balance between good and evil. I mean, this is just awesome. So we went from such a basic story, something that almost anybody could write. Children do in school all the time, right? Once upon a time, there was a magical land, there was caves, there was unicorns, and everybody lived happily ever after in the end of their story. Well, what about some detail? What about some context? What did the grass look like? Was it candy floss grass? Who was the sorcerer? What's he the sorcerer of? He controls time and space. space, keeps the balance between good and evil. Like, it's so much more creative and in depth, but it's still just as short of a story, just a lot more entertaining. I hope this guys helps you guys with like telling a story to your kid or whatever it may be that you're working on for your project, just to make it a little bit more spruced up, diverse, creative, defined for you. All right, so basically then what I end up doing is I just take my two different parameters. I use my stop parameter so I can tell it when to end my story, and I use my temperature parameter so I can tell it how creative of a response I want. And I tell it to tell me a story of a magical land with a temperature of 0.5 and stop at the end, right? I press enter and it goes on and tells me an awesome freaking story, I'm sure. Once upon a time in a land far, far away, there was a magical kingdom. The kingdom was ruled by a king, a kind and wise king who was beloved by all his subjects. The land was filled with wondrous creatures and magical beings, and the people lived in harmony with nature. The kingdom was surrounded by a great forest, which was home to many strange and mysterious creatures. One day, the king received a prophecy that a great danger would come to the kingdom from the forest. The king knew that he had to act quickly to protect his people. He summoned the bravest and most skilled warriors in the land, and together they set out into a forest to face the danger. They journeyed deep into the forest, and soon they came upon a clearing. In the center of the clearing stood a great dragon, breathing fire and roaring loudly. Awesome story, really good start. It gets excited. Here's some freaking conflict. Now I'm going to change the temperature scale. Let me put it in parentheses. Whoops. 5,000. So we went from a 0.5 to a 5,000 on the creativity scale. This is a big multiplier, so it should be way more creative. So here we go. Once upon a time in a land beyond the realms of imagination, there was a mystical realm known as the Ethereal Kingdom. This kingdom was ruled by a powerful sorceress who possessed the ability to control the elements and bend reality to her will. The land was filled with an array of mystical creatures, some friendly and some not so much. The kingdom was protected by powerful enchanted barriers that kept the malevolent forces at bay. As the sorceress ruled with an iron fist, the people of the kingdom lived in awe of her power and feared her wrath. However, a young and brave adventurer named Luna had always been fascinated by the stories of the Ethereal Kingdom, and she yearned to explore the forbidden land. Luna set out on a journey to the kingdom, and as she approached the enchanted barriers, she was confronted by the sorceress, who was intrigued by the audacity of this mortal to enter her realm. The sorceress decided to test Luna's mettle and threw her into a labyrinth filled with deadly traps and monsters. However, Luna was not one of the most underestimated. She possessed a magical amulet passed down to her from her ancestors, and with its power, she was able to navigate the labyrinth and defeat all the monsters in her path. Impressed by Luna's bravery, the sorceress decided to take her as her apprentice and teach her the ways of magic. As Luna learned the secrets of the Ethereal Kingdom, she realized that the sorceress was not as malevolent as she was made out to be, but was actually a protector of the realm, keeping the malevolent forces at bay. Luna and the sorceress formed a strong bond, and together they embarked on many adventures, protecting the Ethereal Kingdom from all manners of threats. Luna became a powerful sorceress in her own right, and the kingdom knew peace and prosperity for eons to come. The end of the story. It's awesome. It went in so much more detail, a lot more creative, and now we kind of honestly have a template and an outline for a world. So for some people who explore fantasy worlds and stuff like that, I know D&D is pretty big. You can make this a dungeon module. Just switch it in a heartbeat. Ask it to switch it up into a 5th edition dungeon module. So a 5th edition D&D dungeon module. And it's going to take my world, as detailed as it is, and turn it into a dungeon module for Ethereal Kingdom. Like, this is freaking awesome. It's going to give me a title, a background, probably give me a setting, and then a run through to run these characters through. So if you were doing DMing and you were the dungeon master and you wanted to get your background and your title, you could do something basic and generic like what I just did above, and then put in the context of D&D, make it so that you want to make it a module. It's going to switch all that information from this world that nobody knows about, nobody's created, into your own world that you get to hook your adventures into. You can set up your parameters, whatever they may be. I've got 5 different third level people playing throughout my adventure. Can you detail it to that specifics? And it's going to keep on going. I think this is an awesome boundary, or at least an awesome gateway into telling stories for whoever you're telling the story to, or changing it so that you're a DM. Maybe you need to make it a dungeon run, or you change it into a game. Either way, it just created a brand new world for me, changed how creative it was, and I get to do what I want with that. Thanks, guys. Leave your comments below.